Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Design Your Life series. I just really appreciate all of you for following me here and also for coming in and giving comments and so on. Always comment on where you're from. Feel free to share this with anybody that you might find value out of this. What this series is all about is about how can you learn some principles and take away some, maybe get a little bit inspired or maybe learn from some of my mistakes that I've made over the years, and so that you can have a way better 2017 and 2016, and so that you can also make sure that you can design your own life. And what I mean by that is that we spend a lot of time designing our weekends, we spend a lot of time designing our holidays, but and we plan those things a lot, but we never really look at our entire lives and look at maybe 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, right? And that's what, if you can start to plan those things a little bit better, I believe that you can be able to create a much better present for you, or I say future, I guess, but create a better life for yourself. So another thing I wanted to just comment on today is that in a few weeks' time, actually in May, we do have an amazing event coming up in Marbella. So I look forward to seeing many of you there. Those of you that are looking for a new way to make an income, I highly welcome, invite you to actually come along. Warmly welcome you to come along to Marbella to check out what it is we do. We have a lot of fun down there. It's going to be a fantastic conference where we're going to hear from a lot of very successful entrepreneurs. And so what I wanted to focus on today a little bit is realistic time frames when you build a business. And I will start off by telling a little bit story of my mom, actually. So she, when we were living in Luxembourg, my dad was working in banking and he was making a really good income. And my mom was actually, she worked for Skanska, which is a Swedish construction company. And she was part actually building, what today I think in Luxembourg is the largest commercial center there. But lots of shops and all kinds of things there. But she then decided that she wanted to start a business, and it's kind of like a bit like a franchise kind of concept, where she goes in and coaches mainly CEOs and people that are very successful in business on how to manage their time better, so how they can do the same amount of work in way less hours every single week. And what was interesting with that business is that even though there was a very successful model that she was copying, it still took her, I think it was not until her third or fourth year that she became profitable. And so, and that's kind of the statistics, I would say, in the world today of business. You look at all kinds of businesses, and most of the businesses will not become profitable until about their third or fourth year. That's if they stick around, right? So the majority of businesses will not make it. What's going on, Natalie? Great to have you on here. And so the majority of businesses actually don't make it long term. But if you stick to it, that's usually around the time you will become profitable, is third or fourth year, right? And that's what's so interesting with our industry here. A lot of you I know are network marketers. A lot of you are, of course, working with the company that I work with. But it's a little bit looking at your realistic time frame of how quickly you can have success. And I don't want to come out here and tell you what is realistic and what is not, because everybody kind of creates their own reality. So there are people that come into this and have massive success in their first month and make a ton of money. What's going on, Kelly? And there's other people that take a long time, like me, right? And so the big thing there is not always to compare yourself with everybody else, because that's what's really sometimes shoots our confidence down. And that's when we sometimes look at ourselves and we're like, whoa, I've been in this for a year and I haven't achieved what I want to achieve. And maybe it's time for me to go, do something else, or quit this, or just go back to my job and just sit at my desk again, right? And that's where you've got to have a little bit more of like a reality check and say, okay, let's have some perspective here, and just to step back a little bit and say, all right, well, where was my life? What was my life like 5 years ago? What's my life like today, right? Where's my life going to be in 5 years if I don't make a change, right? And yeah, that's right, Natalie. A lot of it is, we compare ourselves to all these people that are having crazy success and so on, but they're the exception, okay? So what I want to share here more is like, how can you be the average, the rule, like of somebody that can have massive success and design your life, but it maybe doesn't happen in the next few months, but it happens when you have this long-term perspective, when you're thinking more like 4 or 5 years down the road. So I've had a great conversation actually yesterday with a guy that's looking at our business been hugely successful in the IT world. He's pretty much reached the top of that. He's now getting promoted to the top, and he says there's nowhere he can go except for kind of CEO of his company, and it's a pretty big company. So he says he's worked really, really hard for 20 years, and he's now reached that pinnacle in his career. So now he's like, I need a new challenge. I need something else. I know I can't advance anymore. So it's like, I wanna find something else that's gonna encourage me to grow as a person, to develop myself, and so on. And that's why he's looking at this. It's something that's completely outside of his comfort zone and so on. But did you hear what I said there? It took him 20 years to reach that position where he's kind of like reached the top there, right? Yet we come into this business expecting to go to the top in like 4 months and in 40 days, right? And so you've got to take a step back and say, okay, well, how can I at least have a more long-term thinking? How can I change my life drastically within the next 5 years? Okay, that might sound like too long for you, but if you have that thinking, then all your actions when you build a business are going to be more long-term. All the relationships that you build are going to be more long-term. So I just had one of my best friends. She actually joined with me 12 years ago in the business. She joined, and she decided it wasn't really for her. And just with life and just the different things that were going on in her life, she decided it wasn't really for her. But she decided to start working with me again a few months ago, and as now the timing is right. And for me, it's like, hold on, I have no idea where I'm going at this point. But what I'm saying here is like, you've got to slow down a little bit. And she's really, really frustrated that things are going so slow and so on, but she's making really good progress, right? And she's created this product group, this close product group, where a lot of people are now starting to follow her, which is absolutely amazing. And she's starting to get a lot more sales, and it's taking time, right? And even though it's only been 3 months or something like that, for me, it's more like, how can you have that patience more for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, and say like, where do you want your life to be like in 5 years time? How can you, if you, for example, want to get stop working your full-time job, how can you look at this business as something that's maybe going to take you 2, 3, 4 years, right? I did this part-time for 2.5, probably 3.5 years. I was very fortunate. I was playing professional basketball, so yes, I had a little bit more time because you don't play professional basketball 8 hours a day. So I had a bit more time to do this than other people, but at the same time, I was always stuck in Luxembourg because I had all my games there, all my practices. I had to be there all the time, so I could never travel on the weekends or whatever else. Whereas that's the nice thing, if you have a job that's Monday to Friday, you can actually go on the weekend somewhere else that you might go and chase your business, right? And but then what happened was I decided that I was going to move to London, but I still kept the basketball gig, and I was still able to, they would pay for me to fly back to Luxembourg and play the games on the weekends, so I was able to take kind of Monday through Wednesday or Monday through Thursday most of the time to work on my business, right? So I found a situation, I wasn't banking before that, but I changed my situation so I could focus on the business. And so that's another recommendation I have, is if you are looking at any kind of business that you want to start on a part-time basis, it's like, find a way that you can do that on a part-time basis. So if you have a job that requires all your hours right now, find another job that's going to pay your bills but allow you to have a little bit more time to build your dream, right? And because that's what's going to set you free long term, like building that dream, whatever it is that's going to help you achieve passive income. So in this case, for me, it was in the network marketing industry, right? And so I was also a bit fortunate because I had my brother as my sponsor, and so I could never ever live with myself seeing him become hugely successful and then me not getting there, right? So I always had this kind of carrot going after, like I couldn't ever leave it, right? Because I had to follow him in his success. And it's amazing to see here, he's now earned his first $1 million, right? Which is funny because if I would have actually stuck into the banking world, I probably would have made about the same amount of money. But if I would stop working tomorrow, I would make nothing, right? And that's where he makes a ton, way more money today per month than I ever probably would have made staying in the banking industry, at least in the sector that I was there. And that's what's also really interesting here, is that this is an add-on business where you add on a little bit every year. And you just keep building it. And that was great. I was just checking out my numbers here actually right now, and we've had a little bit of a downturn in some ways. Our volumes have still kept on going up. Our sales have still kept on going up, but our recruiting hasn't really been there the same way that it used to be. But January was amazing. We had the best recruiting we've had in a really long time. We had the best retention rates that we've had in a really, really long time, right? And that's what's awesome with the new year. Everybody kind of gets out there and gets these new goals, and so I'm super excited about this year because things are really, really going to take off and it's going to go to the next level. And there's a lot of things coming within the company that are really, really exciting. But so whatever you're doing to build your life and so on, have patience. Think more long term. Understand that it's not going to happen overnight. As long as you keep getting better every day, always work on your mindset and so on. And we're going to get into a few more lives here where I'm going to talk a lot more about personal development, mindset, and so on. So I'm really excited about that because those are some of my favorite topics. But make it a lot of fun. Thank you so much for following me on this. Remember that you've got to be in Marbella in a few months here in May. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have obviously a huge party down there. We're going to celebrate a lot of success and just learn so much more about how to get the right mindset to be successful. So thank you all for following, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. All right, cheers everybody. Oh, it's a nice little view in the background there.